Welcome to the Baroque Bat. I'm Queenie Black, and I'm still in Montana. As you can see, I'm in the wide open spaces because today I want to talk about agoraphobia in this big, wide open space. Make sure I'm not stepping on anything that's going to bite me. As I've gotten older, my relationship with agoraphobia has completely changed. There was a time when staying at home was because I was horribly afraid of anything and everything that could happen. That the second I left the house, I'd have a heart attack, or I'd faint, or I'd get sick or something, feeling that I was going to die the minute I walked out the house. Even like going outside of the house felt like a million eyes were on me, just staring at me. Sometimes I just don't want to leave the house because I don't want to look like a swamp witch leaving. And I want to take time to look nice, and I don't want to do that. So there is a difference now. Sometimes anxiety says, don't leave the house because something terrible is going to happen. And sometimes being older says, you don't want to go outside because the traffic sucks. So I'm in I'm not horribly agoraphobic anymore. I just don't want to leave the house now. Have you seen the traffic out there? Today, I want to talk about that difference. When you're staying in the house because we genuinely enjoy being in our space, and when we're staying in the house because fear is quietly making all of the decisions for us. So let's go back to when it was really fear. There have been times in my life when going out of the house was freaking impossible. And unless you've experienced agoraphobia and really bad anxiety, it's hard to explain to people. Why can't you just leave? And then when you reach out for help, somebody will say, well, just go out. And you're at your worst and you're thinking, wow, thank you. Why didn't I think of that? When we solved the problem, right? You've solved it. You've totally solved it for me. I'm going to go. See ya. All my problems are solved. But let me tell you this. As a matter of fact, you actually know that deep down in your core, that is actually the answer. We've been taught to run to others to hold our hands. Staying home works. You feel anxious about something because, you feel like you're going to have a heart attack, like I said, or you're going to pass out. So you stay home. And the anxiety eventually just goes away because you're in your safe space, right? So your brain goes, that was an excellent decision. We're just going to stay home because I don't like the way it feels when I leave the house and I feel a million eyes on me, or my body starts betraying me. And we feel this sense of we survived because we made the decision to stay home. And I'm never making a decision again to leave the house and feel uncomfortable again. And that's when your world gets even smaller. Your comfort is taking over and making your world smaller. Now, I know I've talked about this subject a little bit before, but I just feel like being in this big open space and getting here to this big open space and enjoying it, it's just something that I need to talk about again because I know a lot of you are suffering. And one of the things that I've learned about myself is that I have to keep doing things or I won't. I have to go out. I have to drive places. I have to plan trips. I have to go into stores. I have to keep reminding my brain that we do this, that we have to do this. But admittingly, I don't. I don't always do those things. But when I do, it's not necessarily always because I want to, but it's because it's an exercise in keeping myself agoraphobia free. I mean, let's not get carried away here. I'll DoorDash anything before going out into traffic because, come on, let's not get crazy. But the whole thing is, I don't want fear deciding how big my life gets to be. And sometimes the little accomplishments that we end up doing look so unimpressive from the outside. On the outside, people. Maybe you did the most mundane things outside your comfort zone, but you did it. I'm sorry, it's windy and my hair's blowing all over the place. It keeps going in my mouth. You didn't have a cheering crowd. You don't get a medal, and nobody throws roses for you. But you could tell yourself, holy moly crap, lowly, I did that. And I feel proud. It's okay to tell yourself you're proud of yourself. I do that all the time. Like I came here again. Here I am back in Montana. I gotta go home by myself again. And I'll come back here next spring and I'll do other things. And I tell myself, you know what? I am so proud of you. And I say, thanks, me. You went and you did it. Or, you know, you planned something. When something is difficult for you, that counts. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried. The point is trying. And I'm yelling again. But every single time you try, you're switching. It's like, because for those of you that understand, let me try to get a little more comfortable here. For those of you that understand that even walking outside your front door and walking to the end of the driveway is like lugging big bricks up behind your feet, that is the first thing that will set you free once you can do that. It doesn't have to look super impressive to anybody else, but the minute you step foot, and you're gonna feel uncomfortable, you're gonna feel those eyeballs. You're gonna imagine them looking through the curtains at you, because maybe you're physically not where you want to be, or maybe you are, but you think you are, because you've got dysmorphia of any kind. I love socializing, but just not as much as I did in the past. Running errands is not social. I mean, it can be for me because I like to talk to people everywhere, but I think I've turned into that old lady that talks to herself. Or people think I'm talking to myself, and I'm actually talking to them, and they turn around and look at me like I have 65 eyes. What do you think? Do you think this is a good avocado? Then we have the internet. The internet has made staying home very, very easy. It's completely changed agoraphobia. And maybe it's made people agoraphobic too, that would not normally be. Now, because now you can literally live your entire life without leaving your house. You can't visit bears or anything like that. You can't drive through and see bears. So, see, maybe you can talk to your friends, but you can't, like, being close to them enough for them to sneeze on you or anything, and then go, whoa, and then go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. But you can't, but that means you won't catch colds from them. You can also meet people from all over the world without traveling, and that is some kind of a wonderful thing. And for somebody struggling with agoraphobia, the internet could be an absolute lifeline, and it was for me. But there's something that's going to be missing, and you'll still feel lonely. I've met all kinds of wonderful people over the internet, and then when I meet them in person, it's like way better. It's especially people that you've gotten really close to. It's like, oh, you can hug them and you can be close to them. I'm certainly not going to knock what the internet has brought to us, especially when we are people with mental disorders. But it can be a very bad thing wrapped up in shininess, shininess as a good thing. Because now you can avoid everything too. You don't have to do all this stuff. Like I said, you can have everything delivered and stuff, and someone brings the groceries and they take a picture of it, and you don't even want to open the door. You check the Ring cameras to make sure they're gone before you pick up your groceries. That's what I do. Because once I'm in my cocoon, I'm in my cocoon. That makes avoidance even easier, though. If there's already a little voice in your head saying, "Don't go outside, stay here, it's a lot safer," the modern world is going to answer and say, "Absolutely. Would you like free shipping?" And that's the part that I personally have to watch, because especially the last couple years, I have fallen deep into that. You can be very busy while being online and have no life outside of it. So, what are we going to do? You talk to people, you can scroll, you can post, you can live vicariously through other people. So, one of the reasons why I like to share my experience is because I know there are people that want to do these things but can't. Brain is telling them they can't. Whoa. It's like having two people living inside of you, and you are fighting with this person, but you're letting the other person take over. There's a part of life that only happens when you physically show up. You see something you weren't looking for. I mean, look at the sky. Like the sky. Or, when you physically go do things, maybe you find a weird little shop you've never seen before. Or you see an old building and you want to figure out like everything about that building. Or you overhear something freaking hilarious. You smell somebody's perfume and you're like, "Ooh, that smells good. Wonder what kind of perfume that is." You meet somebody that you would have never met and you start having conversation. Like me, and at the grocery store, I'll meet an old man and we'll start talking about celery. Some celery is really hard, some of it's too soft. Some of it has two strings. And then sometimes you get the perfect freaking celery, just snaps and you chew it. You don't have a lot of strings. When you're out in the world, you still get emotionally drained, and that counts too. You don't when you're that's what they say about your social when your social battery runs out, it's okay. You can just be like, "Oh my goodness, there's a beautiful hawk just flying by." Or is that an eagle? Dude, if I got an eagle on camera, can you imagine if an eagle and then a bear and then a reindeer? A reindeer. A deer. Being around others' frustration and anxiety, in a way, we need some of that because we learn grace, manners, tolerance, patience, and our own self regulations. And the internet doesn't do that, because you can see how people lose all their inhibitions on the internet and they just tell you they get all grumpy and stuff. And they have no self control. Everybody's rude and fighting and stuff, because would you do that in person? No, because you learn manners and self regulation. I mean, the good thing about the internet, if you don't like something, you just click away, you push stop, or, if something makes you uncomfortable, you just close the computer. A lot of times I will see something that I don't like, somebody's posted, and I want to write out something, but then I just end up, I delete it all. I don't want to fight back and forth. Or sometimes I'll just leave a LOL. If I think they're ridiculous, I'll just leave a LOL. Bye. A drive by LOL. But outside, we don't have those buttons. And that's exactly what we need to start to keep practicing. So now, if I'm like invited somewhere or I want to do something, I have to decide if my battery is charged enough or if I'm going to just think about being at home. Let's go back to feeling uncomfortable outside of the house. So sometimes I can be uncomfortable, but being uncomfortable doesn't mean that I'm not safe because our feelings aren't always the facts. I could feel like I've said before in one of my other videos, every time right before I'm about to take a solo trip, like coming here or going home, all I'm thinking about, I like think like, what if I feel like this, and what if I wake up and I feel like this, and I can't go. I still go, and I deal with the uncomfortable feeling, and I survive. The conundrum, or whatever that word is, about the internet is it can connect you to the whole freaking world while helping your personal world to get smaller. And I don't want that anymore. I went through that already. I don't want fear convincing me that watching the world is the same as living in it. So why now am I staying home more? I hear something behind me. You're allowed to like quiet. You're allowed to become more selective with who you spend your time with. And I'm talking about now. I mean, I was going to say now that I'm older, but God, I mean, in general, I don't have to go everywhere. I don't have to accept every invitation. And my issue now is I do get invited a lot of places, and there's a reason sometimes why I don't go. There's very deep issues why I can't go. And I don't want to spend 3 hours in, in a session with these people letting them know why. I mean, I feel bad that I don't accept the invitation, but I don't think they want to hear my therapy session. I'm adventurous, but I also like to stay home. And hopefully, being old enough now, we understand that between each other without getting our feelings hurt. Anxiety can be very, very clever. It can say to me, "You really don't want to go. You don't want to be out there. You don't want to have fun. You want to stay home and have a 3 hour panic attack about how your heart's going to explode." Or, "Oh my God, is your throat closing up for some reason?" I always had health anxiety. I still have a little bit of it, but I literally, if I start a panic attack, I hug myself. I hug myself and I say, "You're okay. You're okay. You've had panic for 40 years and you're still alive." Ugh. You don't want fear to redecorate your life. It has terrible taste. It wants everything very, very small. One chair, one couch, one book that you have to read over and over again. And the book is Fear: How to Be Afraid All the Time and Never Leave Your House. No, it would be How to Be Safe by Never Leaving Your House. Or you get stuck in a routine. I love routines. I'm all about routines. I eat the same thing. I do the same thing all the time. But that's my OCD. But like I said before, I use it for good. So I now have healthy routines instead of routines of, "Oh my God, okay, it's be afraid o'clock, and so I can't go anywhere now." So absolutely not. We're not letting fear decorate our life. I want my cozy little home full of Bravery. I like my cozy little world at home, but I also want the option to leave it. Sometimes when people talk about overcoming anxiety, it sounds like you're supposed to become a completely different person. Like all of a sudden, you're going to start skydiving, or all of a sudden, you're the life of the party. You know, you're traveling around the world with one backpack, or you're cutting off all your hair, or you're just running down the street when and you don't think anybody's staring at you. No, that's not how it works. So don't think that, oh my God, okay, people aren't going to believe that I'm making progress if I'm not going out and doing these super extravagant things. It can be as slow as a progress as you need it to be. But I hope that your dreams, I got bugs crawling on me. Ugh, mosquitoes. I really hope that your dreams are something that you can attain. I'm not going to say I hope, because I know there's something you can attain. While pushing yourself to do things, you also don't have to always be extremely social too. That's another thing too with me. When I was making the steps to go to push my life into an actual life, I wasn't social. You know, it was like a butterfly emerging. And then when you're out, I mean, you could still be out and have a lovely, after you've come out of your shell, as they say, being mature about it and being older as we are, you can still go somewhere and have a lovely time and think like, oh, well, that was a fun time, but now it's time to go. Now I'm going to leave. Reality is, you don't have to stay and be the life of the party. But, once I get out of the house, I have so much fun. I never leave. I'm always the last one to leave. I may be saying things that I've said in past videos, but I always feel like we need a refresher about this agoraphobia and fear, because it is pretty huge. I know a lot of people that suffer from it and need like a oomph, a push. Because I'm pep talking myself at the moment too. So most of the time I like to stay home, but now I have the upper hand because it's not out of fear. It's just out of peace. Oh my God, that fly had something to say. Rude. That fly was rude. Learning the difference between doing something out of fear and just for peace is really has been really important for me. If you deal with agoraphobia or anxiety, give yourself some credit. Things that may look easy to somebody else may not be as easy for you. You don't have to change your whole world in one afternoon. Like I said, as long as you need. But every little step you make is going to make the world a little bit bigger for you. Go around the block, you go to the store, you get in your car, you turn it on, you put your hands on the wheel, you put your foot on the gas, you back up out of the driveway, and then then your heart starts racing, and you think about all the bad things that can happen. You get back up at the driveway and you get back in the house, but the next day you're getting in the car and you're going down a little farther. That's how I got over my fear of driving. I literally went around my block, and then I went around a bigger block, bigger block, bigger block. Dude, I'm driving 5 states to come see my dad now by myself. Little by little. Not because you're trying to become somebody different, but because you deserve choices. I'm wondering if other people that are my age, older, if you've gone through this process, you know, are you agoraphobic? Do you are you worried that you're agoraphobic again because you like to stay home because it's comfortable? I say no, because a phobia is a fear. Because this is why I'm doing this, because I wrestled with that. And I really, really wrestled with that until started thinking about it. And I'm like, well, I don't have a fear of leaving my house. I just don't want to leave my house now. Here comes that fly. You you've got to stop. Oh, it's a bee. Oh, it's a bee. Okay, the bee went away. So if I decide to go out or if I decide to stay in and make art or something, it's wonderful. Both decisions are wonderful. But I want it to be my decision. I don't want it to be that old tape that comes back to say, I've got genuine health issues now that I'm older. And the funny thing is that now that I have genuine issues, being through that, where I've learned how to control fear or get past fear, I'm not as afraid with my actual health issues. You know, I've got like a kind of like a heart issue, and okay, I'm learning to deal with it, but I'm still doing things with this issue. I've got other things. I'm still living life with my issues, with my condition or whatever they're called. Now it's getting close. So I don't have a freaking choice. So if you're younger and you're having these kinds of things, look at it that way. Regardless of how old you don't have a choice. Period. I want you to get out and live. I want you to be in the space that I'm in, where when I was younger, I really resonated with the song Nowhere Girl, because to me, I think it's about a girl that has agoraphobia. I'm not sure if it is, but if you read the lyrics, it really resonated with me. She lives in a self imposed exile. And that's what I feel like agoraphobia is, and anxiety. I hope that anything I've had to say today really, I don't want to say help, inspires you. Sometimes you can get very uh, not annoyed, but what is that word? You can get really offended if somebody tells you, just go do it. You gotta go do it. And then you're like, like I said, like, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sherlock. But it truly is the only thing, because even if you have parents, best friends, partners, they're not going to solve the problem for you. Like me saying that I have conquered things, or I have to stop saying that because you can't, manage things. It may inspire you, but I can't physically take you by the hand and let's go. And then it doesn't work, because it's not until your brain clicks or something clicks that, oh my God, I've got to do things afraid. Courage and faith, courage and faith, courage and faith in yourself. And, I don't have a religion myself, but I believe in energy, good energy, and whatever, like I've said a gazillion times. But if you believe whatever you believe in, and if it helps you, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't have a certain faith, because oh God, that's a whole other thing I want to go into, because not everything is black and white. Anyway, blah blah blah. The sun is setting, and I think my video might be crooked. Whatever. The ground is very crooked. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good week. And I want you to take a step outside. And I'm going to do the same, because trust me, I get too comfortable when I'm in my house, and I don't, I don't go out. And then sometimes I plan something and I push myself out. I'm going to give you some advice that I'm going to have to take this week. Love yourself. Thank you for listening, because if you listen, that means you needed to hear it. The universe brings you things you need to hear. Sometimes it brings you things you don't need to hear. I will see you next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. It's hard when I'm here. So, I don't know if you have an idea because I'm still here in Montana and I won't be home in my studio for like 10 more days or something. So, let me know what should I talk about here in Montana. I got one more week, one more video for Montana. Remember to watch me draw something on Friday without looking. Look,